99 employees.
We have Oziyah Sellers and Bryce Hopkins. And Coach Rick Pitino, and get rid of that sound stuff. And, all right, we set everything. All right.
Well, we played awesome defense tonight, especially the first half was as good as we played all year. And when you go in at halftime with that lead and the assist total at 10-2, 3-point shots, which doesn't normally happen, we go 0 for 5 against just an awesome shooting team. We got 15 points, they got 0. And rebounding wise, we were 26 and 13. Fast breaks, we were 10 for 12. So first half was brilliant on offense, brilliant on defense. And second half, it's tough to play with a lead against a good shooting team, but they made some threes that were amazing. It's very difficult for our players because the rules have changed so much. Forget the Portland, forget. Right now, on every basket, the offensive player just buries himself into the defensive player, and it's always a foul. Where before it was 50-50, now it's 90-10. The verticality's got to be, you got to leave your feet. So that's where we got to learn to do that, because they fake, and they barrel into you. You got to leave your feet and go vertical instead of into the man. Outside of that, we played a great game. Bryce was tremendous. And Oziyah's, when you watch Oziyah play, he really doesn't make too many mistakes. He's steady, knows how to cut, knows how to play. So he's a terrific basketball player. Having if you look at it out there and you say, what did Oziyah do? He did everything right, nothing wrong. His defense is getting much better than the beginning of the year, and I'm proud of both of these guys. They had really a good game.
All right, go to Zach in the middle.
Rick, they hit 14 threes yesterday. You had them to 5, and a few of those were really after the game was over. What did you think just of what you did specifically to shut them down?
I just said run them off the line, get them to take 2s, not 3s. And I said the only way they're going to beat us, because we were well fired up for both teams, Butler as well as Providence. I said the only way this team can beat us is from the 3-point line. So we were not going to let them have that edge.
Over here, Roger.
Question for Bryce. Bryce, I guess it was unavoidable that there was going to be a lot of attention on you, playing against your former team. I know that in the first 2 games, maybe you didn't perform as well as you might have liked. How satisfying was it for you to have a performance like this on this stage and in a game this important?
I try not to make it all about me. I know there was attention coming into the game, me playing my former team. But the biggest thing was just playing through my teammates, not doing too much, and coming out with the win. This is the best time to play basketball in March. And our goal is to win the Big East tournament championship. And Providence just so happened to be our first matchup. So, the biggest thing was just coming out today with the win.
Kevin, second row.
Rick, is there any more adjectives or any way else you can describe what Zuby does on a night-in, night-out basis?
Well, he really didn't have a great game tonight. Now, his numbers show, but he really didn't play great. He played very good. But I thought Zuby made quite a few mistakes tonight in the game. He didn't bless himself before the game. He didn't tuck his shirt in 3 times. He didn't say thank you when I gave him credit, so he didn't have a great night.
Right here in the front.
To either Bryce or Oziyah. Yesterday, Coach talked about, obviously, you lost Providence the first time you played here. Coach said you easily could have lost the second game. Talk about how he had you prepared when you knew it was going to be Providence for the 3rd time.
Yeah, obviously we found out who we were playing yesterday, so you kind of got to prepare quickly, move fast, and just go over everything. So we watched a lot of our mistakes from previous games, found out things we could do better, and we went out there today and tried to execute that.
Okay, we're down here on the right. Yes.
Questions for Rick. I'm interested to know what I guess has stood out to you the most about what Bryce has done this season and now I guess with this performance today.
Well, I think Bryce is still getting better. I still think there's room for improvement. Bryce is getting his quickness, his vertical's getting better in the second half of the season. He's a good ball handler. I wish he would shoot it a little quicker and take more threes, because he's worked very hard at that. Both of these guys are very unselfish pros. They're professional basketball players, and their attitude, the way they conduct themselves, the way they pay attention. So both guys are terrific. But Bryce has gotten better. And when you're 35 years old, getting better still is a nice thing.
All the way in the back, Mike.
Hey, Rick, whether this is fair or not, I think most of your best teams are remembered for being dynamic offensive teams. Does this team remind you defensively of any of your better teams from the past, just strictly from a defensive standpoint? Does it remind you of any of those teams?
Not really. My Louisville championship team was a zone team, a matchup zone team. And the Kentucky team was obviously just one of the best teams to ever play the game. This team has its own identity, but the great thing about our team is we keep getting better and better. And that's what I like to see. When they had a bad game, they handled it like pros against Connecticut. They don't know why it happened. They were ready, emotionally, physically. They just ran into a better team that night. And what did they do? They came back against a good team and beat them 32. So they act like professionals. They conduct themselves like professionals. And I'm going to certainly miss these two guys.
Far right, Terry.
Coach, this is a team you said could have swept you in the regular season, and you come out and wire to wire. Is there some kind of statement, in the opening round, winning in such a fashion?
No, we just, the reason we played such great defense is how much respect we have for their offensive ability. I think Sellers is a lock NBA player. Lock. He can score against anyone. He has a pro-type game. He has a James Harden-type game. He goes to the basket great. He uses his body. He has step-back shots. He has great range. He has a great burst. He gets above the rim. He has a great vertical. So he's a tremendous basketball player. He's not on a lot of first-round draft boards, but we'll look back. I guarantee he plays 12 years in the league.
Back to Zach.
Bryce, you guys were plus 21 on the glass, plus 10 points in the paint. What does that kind of just say about the aggression and you played with, and how ready you guys were for today?
I feel like that's the biggest thing with us is our front court is very athletic. We're physical. We try to just impose that night in and night out. We knew playing Providence that they shoot a lot of threes, so that would there would be a lot of long rebounds. So that was a key in our preparation and a main topic that we were focusing on while we were watching film and stuff like that. So I think that was pretty much the biggest part, was just knowing that they are shooting a lot of threes and that there would be long rebounds.
Right here, Lloyd.
Thank you. Coach, the second half, it seemed like St. John's was stuck at 59 for quite a while. Was there a concern that it's lackadaisical, that perhaps...
We made a couple of bad plays. The thing I love about Bryce is he didn't block out and made a bad defensive play in preseason. He said, that's my fault, coach. It's not going to happen again. No excuses, no signs of weakness. Just owned up to it and moved on. No, I think it's really tough to play with a lead. This environment, everybody wants to play great at Madison Square Garden. Everybody, regardless of your record, doesn't matter. They want to play great. And last night Providence played great, and tonight we played great defense and shared the basketball, did a lot of really good things. And we protected our guys outside of Oziyah playing 32 minutes. Nobody played a lot of minutes, so we were able to do that. We didn't press as much, and Oziyah is well conditioned, so it's not going to bother him at all.
All right, we're doing two more right here in front.
This was for Coach. With the reports of the Providence job opening up, you've been there. Obviously, it's a different landscape. What does it take to succeed there, and how do you produce?
Well, is it opened up? I haven't seen anything that says it's opened up. No. So I can't comment. If Kim still has a job, I can't comment on that.
All right, last question right here in the middle.
Rick, yesterday before the game, you mentioned there was...
And by the way, Kim's a young coach, and he's a very good coach. He communicates well with his team. He's a very good coach. Bryce has said does a very good job. What happened to them was they lost so many close games at the beginning of the year that it went the other way for them. And unfortunately, that happens. It happens in this game. You see it all the time. So, he's going to have a long career, and he's a very good basketball coach. Everyone in this league is a good coach, but he's a very good basketball coach. He gets his teams to play hard. They like him a lot. I wish nothing but the best regardless of how it turns out.
Last question.
Rick, yesterday before the game, you mentioned there was a scrimmage with the ones versus the twos, and the twos beat the ones, and it was led by Ian Jackson and Jason Safford. Do you think that that translated into today's game with both of them playing pretty well?
Well, what I told them, more than anything else, was in one timeout I even told them tonight. I said to them, I said, remember yesterday why you got beat? Joson, I think, was 9 for 16 from 3. Ian was like 5 for 7. I said, you got beat because you played hard in the scrimmage that we had, but they made threes. So the message is you can't let this team make threes. They can beat anyone if they make threes the way they shoot the basketball. Even Mila shot it great last night. So they guarded the line, and they paid strict attention to that line, and then the better team wins.
St. John's, thank you. Thanks.